What's up, comrades? It's me, Nightwolf, and today is a very special day. Today, I get to relive some of my nostalgia for the early 2000s, back in the day when I used to watch Adult Swim, back in the day when I used to watch Toonami, both on Adult Swim and on Cartoon Network. Today is the day for Lupin the Third, the First. Let's talk about this movie. So there's very rare opportunities for myself where I get to have a chance to talk about animes like this one. In particular because a lot of the older animes tend to be overlooked or ignored a lot of the time when it comes to older franchises. I've never really had an opportunity to talk about Lupin the Third, but like I mentioned earlier, this is a nostalgic trip for me, so I do get to talk about Lupin the Third because the new movie recently came out, and I was really excited for it because I saw the trailers, and I was like, oh my goodness, this looks fantastic. Some of the best looking CGI anime I have ever seen, period. That translates one of the oldest anime franchises in the world. This is nearly a 50-year-old property at this point. The original Lupin was created in the 1960s. And we get this, which translates the original style and look of the series into a beautiful CGI movie that I cannot stress enough how great this movie is. When I put the Blu-ray in for the first time and that music kicked in, I was on a nostalgic trip again. I was remembering the first time I ever watched Lupin the Third back on Toonami and Adult Swim. I was blown away by just that musical soundtrack kick and the video animation of Lupin and the cast, everybody from Zenigata to Fujiko to Goemon to Jigen, all running around causing nothing but mischief and trouble on the screen. And I was like, this is going to be good. This is going to be good. This is going to be a fun and enjoyable movie to watch. And what was even better was finding out that the original cast from the English dub would be partaking in this film as well. It wasn't just going to be the Japanese cast, but I would get to relive it as I remember it, like I said, from those Toonami days in English dub format with majority of the original cast. Which, by the way, just putting that out there right now, I was happy to hear that they were coming back. And I'm even happier to report that they did an amazing job. And the new cast members also did a fantastic job with this English dub. A lot of anime fans normally are opposed to dubs for some reason in more recent years, but I can't watch Lupin the Third easily without a dub cast, because without Richard and all the cast, Richard is, who plays Jigen. He's been the director for several parts of the series, and he voices Jigen. I just can't do it without Tony Oliver there as Lupin or Michelle Roof as Fujiko. It just isn't the same. And of course, Lex Lang as Goemon. They all did an amazing job. Now, I didn't know that the original voice actor for Detective Zenigata was not available anymore. He seems to be working as a acting teacher currently. So they do have a new Zenigata. I was not aware of this because it's been a long time since I kept up with Lupin the Third. But his name is Doug, I believe. I'm drawing a blank here. I am so sorry. Yeah, Doug Etherols as Zenigata. He sounds almost exactly the same as the original dub cast member of Zenigata. He does an amazing job. His Lupin is fantastic. It's way better than mine. would never pretend to try and do that voice. It would probably kill me. But it was such an amazing cast. Even the other new characters like Laurie Hyman, who plays Letitia, or I think it's pronounced Letitia. I'm sorry if I'm messing that up. But she did a fantastic job. The man, J. David Berman, who did Lambert, also great job. Basically, everybody did a great job. That's what I'm gonna say. Dubcast did an amazing job. I didn't watch the subtitled version, like I said, but as far as I'm aware, that's also the same cast as before. So if you prefer the subtitled version, I'm pretty sure you're golden there as well. It's funny. I'm gushing about the voice cast and the nostalgia, and I haven't even talked about what the story is. And I love, caper films and car chases or just caper films in general are always kind of fun. And Lupin the Third has always been basically nothing but caper films. Short caper films that are normally very fun, very comedic, very enjoyable to watch. When I remembered watching the original series, it's pretty much every single episode was a new caper to try to steal something, to try and get some money. And the films are always the same as well. This one having a lot, and on rare occasion there's some weird sci-fi stuff that happens, but that happens in this movie too. But I can't deny that I just overly enjoy it so much. It was so much fun. The caper in question, it has to do with the mysterious Brayson Diary, which I don't know if that actually has any historical significance or anything. But basically the caper felt a lot like one of the Indiana Jones films where they're trying to stop the Nazi party, or the remnants of the Nazis, or the Third Reich. Very interesting idea for a story and a caper. What was even more fun was the fact of just the interconnectivity of both Lupin and Letitia herself, along with their history, and learning more about each other, considering that she gets to come along for the ride. Fledgling archaeologist who is being forced against her will to work with people that she does not particularly know the truth about, or that she doesn't really like. But all because she just wants to become an archaeologist and go to a university in America to become a full-fledged archaeologist. The capers themselves go over incredibly well. It feels very much like the classic original Lupin that I love and remember so very fondly. It was just so much fun. The typical double crosses were there, Fujiko causing trouble, as per usual, as she does. That was a lot of fun and very enjoyable to see. The crew members basically leaving Lupin to his own devices at several points in the film was fantastic, because that's very much of how their dysfunctional family works. They do not always get along, or they're always interested. They're more interested in their own self-interest than, working as a team. But it always ends up working out in the end and them working together. So that's always enjoyable to see. This movie felt a lot like Indiana Jones and the Raiders of the Lost Ark to me, because it does involve Nazi party and, them trying to get a hold of something very dangerous and potentially to threaten the world. This whole movie is just a joy to watch. I can't really think of anything negative to say about it. That's how much fun I had with this movie. I'm having a really hard time thinking of anything negative to go over. I'm sure that there could be some nitpicks or some minor grievances that you could have with this film, but I can't really find any in my mind currently. Maybe after I watch the film a few more times, then I could maybe have some thoughts that are different. I'm trying to think of them. I'm trying to think of anything that might be negative, anything that might... I guess some of the plot is a bit very convenient when it involves both Lupin or Letitia. that particular stuff might be a little too convenient, but this is a Lupin story, and that type of stuff tends to happen more often than not from what I'm remembering of the show and from the other series I've seen. So it's not like it breaks the immersion entirely. That's probably the only minor nitpick that I can come up with off the top of my head, is that it might just be some of the things might be a little too convenient. You know, running into the exact right person at the right time kind of trope. That happens sometimes. But aside from that, I can't really think of anything negative to say about it, because it was just an overly enjoyable film that I had a lot of fun with. And that I want to watch again. Because it's just that much fun to watch. It was just an overly enjoyable film. If you have the opportunity and the chance to watch this movie, watching Lupin the Third the First, I cannot recommend it highly enough. Go out there, watch this movie. If you're looking for something fun and entertaining and enjoyable to watch in these very odd times that we live in, this is a movie that I think can lift your spirits up. I definitely believe that at this current junction. It's just that much fun. And it just makes me want to go back and revisit other parts of Lupin the Third. So it does that too. And it's highly accessible. If you've never watched Lupin, if you've never watched any of the anime, Lupin the Third, or any of the movies, or anything of that nature, this is a good entry point. There really isn't a whole lot more you can do, because because the original Lupin the Third that I watched was roughly Lupin the Third Part 1, or not Part 1, but Part 2 or 3. And a lot of it was, you kind of get to know the characters without having to know all of their background story. And you don't really need it in order to enjoy Lupin the Third. And this movie follows that same trend. You don't really need to have a lot of prior knowledge of Lupin the Third to know exactly what you're getting into. It covers pretty much all the bases that every other Lupin the Third media has covered before. So you really don't need to worry about it being, too deep in the lore or the history of Lupin to the point where it's like, I can't follow any of this stuff. I don't think that's going to be an issue, because it covers everything very well, and you kind of get the feel and the understanding of how these characters work and operate. At least from my perspective. I think you can get away with not having a lot of prior knowledge to the series and watching this movie completely without worry. There was one more thing I wanted to point out, because I recently had discovered about it. The creator of Lupin the Third, the man whose pen name is known as Monkey Punch, he has another name, but I'm not going to pronounce it here. But Monkey Punch, there was a nice little bit at the end of the movie that was a tribute to him, and I highly appreciated that, considering he passed away in 2019, last year, or well, over a year or so ago, where it said that he wanted Lupin the Third to continue for as long as possible, to keep on having adventures and getting into trouble. And that warms my heart very much to hear that even though he's not currently with us anymore, that he wants Lupin to continue. That's amazing. That's fantastic. I can't be happier to know that a creator wants his creation to continue, to inspire, to entertain. Sorry about that. I got a little teary-eyed thinking about it, but yeah, I really did appreciate that they added that to the movie, and let's hope that Lupin the Third continues. It's been going on for almost 50 years. This series is old, and I would love to see it continue, and to get new people invested in the adventures of Lupin. But anyway, guys, that's the end of my video gushing about this movie. I'm done. I'm finished. I can't really think of anything more. I don't want to spoil too much of the movie because, like I said, I want people to go out and watch it for themselves. So, please, as always, if you enjoyed this video, please, as always, leave me a like, shoot me a comment, subscribe if you're new here, and hit the notification bells. I would really appreciate the support and the traction. Definitely comment. Tell me what you thought of the movie. Give me some engagement. I would greatly appreciate it. And of course, as always, do not forget to raise your nerd flags high, and I will see you next time. Nightwolf is out.